Hey everyone, in this voice recording, I'm going to be speaking on the topic of Roman military traditions, or I'm going to be talking about Roman military traditions, the ranks, the units, the hierarchy, the structure a little bit, okay? I'm going to try to be as simple as possible without too much complications, just to keep things simple. Okay, so it's easy to understand. And yes. So, the Roman armed forces, okay, all of the units will start with the legions, okay, the Roman legions. The foot soldiers, which is the most important unit in the Roman armed forces. Now, this doesn't mean the other units are useless, okay? But if there's anything that will represent Rome, it will be the Roman legion or his officer, the commanding officer of a Roman legion with a square shield, okay? A shield in which you can make the testudo formation, also known as the turtle formation, okay? Nothing represents the Roman armed forces better than a Roman legion with a square shield and a gladius, okay? Which is not too long, but not too short either, just an appropriate length, a perfect length, okay? And a shield with the perfect size, okay? And every legionnaire having the same sizes of gladius and shield, okay? Now, the other units are the cavalry and the auxiliary. The auxiliary units would be the javelin throwers, the men that throw spears, and the archers, okay? Archery. So you have the auxiliary units being the archers, the cavalry, and the javelin throwers of javelins and spears, okay? Now, if you're part of the Roman cavalry, yes, you will also have an officer of the cavalry, obviously. However, the Roman cavalry does not carry a square shield. They are the only ones meant to carry a round shield in the whole Roman armed forces. You won't see circular shields much in the Roman armed forces. You'll only see them maybe for the Roman cavalry, okay? Yes, maybe the Roman cavalry sword might differ in length from the legion's sword. But you're not going to see a Roman cavalry, a Roman soldier on horseback carrying a square shield. That's just stupid, okay? You're not going to be fighting a war on the back of a horse using a square shield. That's just the definition of stupidity, okay? Another definition of stupidity in the Roman armed forces would be to provide legions with circular shields. No legion fights with a circular shield. You need the square shields that are able to effectively make the testudo formation, okay? So these are the Roman military traditions. Very simple, very basic, very easy to learn. It's not something difficult at all. Now, this is the Roman military. Now, in addition to this, you have some other military units. This is the overall general Roman military, okay? The legions, the auxiliary forces, the cavalries, not cavalries, to be more specific, soldiers on horseback, okay? The Roman cavalry, then you have the Roman archery, and you have the Roman javelin throwers, or javelineers, if you want to call it that way. Okay, each with their own commanding officers, obviously. There's no unit without a commanding officer, some kind of tribune, consul, something, okay? A centurion at least, also, okay? So, yeah. Now, this is the Roman military. Then you have Caesar's legions, okay? Now, Caesar has his own legionary force. They'll usually also carry square shields, with the capability of making the testudo. And they also have their cavalry, their archers, and their javelineers. However, they're not called auxiliary units. Caesar's legions are not auxiliaries. They're proper, you can also call them, so I'm not really sure what to call them, but you don't call Caesar's own legion auxiliary units. You just call them Caesar's legion, I guess. So yeah, Caesar also will have his cavalry, his archers, javelin throwers, and his own legions, okay? Foot soldiers. Then, in addition to this, Caesar also has his own Praetorian Guard. Now, what is a Praetorian Guard, okay? Praetorian Guard is Caesar's own private security force, okay? These are very elite troops, A Praetorian Guard is usually a multitask warrior, okay? A multitask soldier. They can also do the testudo formation. They're also skilled in archery, and they're also skilled in fighting from the back of a horse, and they're also skilled in throwing a javelin. So these are considered one of the most elite soldiers of Caesar's forces, his own private Praetorian Guard, okay? Now, what is the duties of the Praetorian Guard is to always accompany Caesar, when he's outside of his luxury residence or whatever, wherever he may be, the Praetorian Guard will guard him always, day and night, If Caesar is to attend the gladiator games, the Praetorian Guard will accompany him there and also sit nearby him, being his own private security force. Same thing with the chariot games. So, yes, this is to explain the Praetorian Guard. Now, Caesar will obviously decide if he chooses to be accompanied by them or not. So Caesar has power over the Praetorian Guard. It's not that the Praetorian Guard will have power over Caesar. Okay? So, yeah. Now, time for the colors of the Roman military. So the general Roman armed forces, with the legions, the javelins, all the auxiliary units will be red. Okay, the red cape, famously worn by Roman legions and soldiers. Usually the cape is worn by officers. The legions usually don't really wear capes, but whatever. So the Roman general military's color is usually red. Okay, red, maybe a tunic with white tunic underneath with some red stripes, red feathers, red cape, for the commanding officer, okay? Red. Now you have, let's move on to Caesar's legions. Caesar's legions are blue. They'll be wearing a very imperial blue kind of shade for their uniform. It would either be something of a naval blue or some kind of imperial blue, depending on which shade of blue looks the best. okay, and the most royal or whatever. Now, the Praetorian Guard usually wears purple, some kind of elegant form of purple, okay? So these are the three colors of the Roman forces on land, okay? You have red for the Roman military. You have blue, imperial blue or navy blue or something, or some kind of shade of blue, elegant looking for Caesar's legion. And then you have purple for the Praetorian Guard, okay? Hope all of this makes sense. Now, moving on to the Roman Navy. Now, in the Roman Navy, it really depends what type of, like, there's also Caesar's Navy, by the way. Just like Caesar has his own legion that wears blue. So if you're part of Caesar's Navy, okay, the soldiers on Caesar's galley ships, which are free rowers, they're not galley slaves. The free rowing Caesar's naval ships, also the Roman soldiers wear blue on those ships. Now, the general Roman Navy, they wear red, the soldiers. Okay? So this is explaining the Roman Navy. Okay? Now, there's no Praetorian Guard for the sea unless Caesar decides to construct his own personal galley. Yes, then you'll have a Praetorian galley or something like that with his soldiers on board. So this is to explain the Roman military on the seas. Okay? So there's a difference between them being on land and on the seas. It's not the same. Okay? So, yes. Now, Caesar's legion and the Praetorian Guard, I explained the duties of the Praetorian Guard. Caesar's legions are basically under Caesar's command. They're used to, let's talk about what Caesar's legions are used for. Let's just say there's a province somewhere and a governor is starting to become too arrogant and thinks he's going to rebel against Caesar or something, cause trouble or division within the republic. Then Caesar will send his own personal legions to punish this governor for causing chaos within the republic and restore order. So that is what Caesar's Blue Legion is all about. It's to punish any disobedient governor or some kind of something, okay, that's causing trouble within any province within the Roman Republic. For the most part, Caesar's legions are never meant to leave the borders of the Roman Republic. Their job is mostly inside within the Roman Republic's territory. They won't really go outside the borders. The Roman military, the general military, they can go beyond Rome's borders if there is a need to fight or conquer new lands. Okay? But Caesar's legions won't do that. Their job is mostly to maintain order and discipline within the provinces in case, let's just say there's a Roman city or province that becomes rebellious and the legions there the governors there are trying to stage a rebellion against Caesar, then Caesar will call in his blue legions to crush the rebellion. Okay? Something like that. So, hope that makes sense. Now, the duties of the general Roman military, yes, they're used to repel any invasions, barbarian invasions. They're used to, all the general military tasks to protect Rome's borders from any invasion from the sea in case the enemy makes a landing on the shores of the Roman Republic, or, general military activities to fight off the enemy, usually coming from the outside. Barbarian invasions, piracy, barbarian piracy upon Roman commerce or Roman ships, etc., etc. And Caesar's navy is there to, restore order in case there's a disobedient Roman naval ship somewhere. So, in case that's happening, Caesar will send his own navy, the Blue Navy, the Imperial Blue Navy, to quell any rebellion at sea if there's some disorder going on within the Roman naval fleet. So, yes. I'll speak on this topic. I have to divide it into two parts because it's a bit of a long subject, but this is just the first part. Second part, I'll speak on later, so some other time, okay? Not too far away, but some other time. That's all I have in this voice recording. You can check out some links in the description box below if you're interested.